Our 4-week Eastern Pacific cruise started with a 13-hour flight to San Francisco. The first morning, we awoke early due to jet lag and took the Golden Gate Transit bus, number 130, towards Sossalito. We got off the bus at the northern end of the bridge for some photos. The Golden Gate Bridge opened to the public in 1937 and quickly established itself as one of the most recognizable bridges in the world. It is painted international orange to make it visible to shipping in fog, whilst still sitting well with the surrounding landscape. Sossalito is a very picturesque town to the north of the bridge. We had a nice coffee break here before catching the ferry back to the San Francisco Ferry Terminal, offering great views of Alcatraz and the bridge. We then took a streetcar from the ferry terminal to Fishermans Wharfe, which is where our hotel was located. Lunch at the Fog Harbor Fish House was very enjoyable with views over the pier side and tasty seafood. In the afternoon we headed for the Japanese tea garden in Golden Gate Park, stopping at the Painted Ladies on the way. These grand homes are symbolic of the famous California Gold Rush era. As newfound wealth flooded into the city, builders sought to display their prosperity through elaborate residences. The Japanese tea garden provides an opportunity to experience the natural beauty, tranquility, and harmony of a Japanese-style garden in the heart of San Francisco's Golden Gate Park. Originally created as an exhibit for the 1894 California Midwinter International Exposition, it features classic elements, such as an arched drum bridge, pagodas, stone lanterns, stepping stone paths, native Japanese plants, serene koi ponds, and a Zen garden. Our second day was spent exploring the city center using the local transport network and a Muni card. We shopped at Macy's, walked through Chinatown, and took a few iconic photos of the steep streets. Our next stop was the Cable Car Museum. This was very interesting, but the noise was deafening. That is enough of that. All the cable cars are powered from here. There is a separate cable for each section of line as labeled on the beam above. This room is in place to retension the cable as it stretches over time. The cable has to be replaced periodically. We then moved on to Lombard Street, which runs down Russian Hill, from Hyde Street to Leavenworth Street. Its 8 sharp turns are said to make it the most crooked street in the United States. Tour buses and tourist vehicles are the main users of the street. From here you can see the Goit Tower. Our next stop was the end of the Powell and Hyde line at the Maritime Garden. This is where the cable cars turn around and await their next scheduled departure time. The cables we saw in the museum run under the ground in the slot between the 2 tracks. A clamping arm goes down aside the gap, and this can be clamped and unclamped from the cable as it runs at a constant speed. By controlling the pressure on the clamp, it acts like a clutch and allows the cable car to set off smoothly. At the end of the line, a simple pulley, below the ground, returns the cable back to the engine house at the museum. This turn would be too tight for the cable cars, so they release the clamps, roll the car onto a table and turn the car around before attaching the clamp onto the returning cable. To this day the turning of the car is done with manpower alone. It is good to see the old traditions being kept. Cable cars were invented by Andrew Smith Halliday in 1873. The system worked very well in San Francisco, as the cable could haul the cars up the steep slopes, whilst being counterbalanced by the cars going down. They were destined for closure due to the popularity of buses in the late 1940s, however public outcry kept them running for nostalgia. San Francisco would not be the same without the cable car system. I visited Alcatraz many years ago, so on this occasion, I did not feel the need to revisit this infamous monument.
If you haven't subscribed yet, please click our logo. Thanks.